You sell is not a diamond. It is glass. You don't know that yet. The woman who buys it doesn't know either. She pays $12 and walks away happy, and you feel the specific satisfaction of having exchanged something shiny for something real. That exchange will define the next 30 years of your life in ways you cannot yet see from a folding table in a weekend market. Level 1, the street vendor. You are 22 years old. Your table is between a candle seller and a man who sells phone cases. 64 pieces of costume jewelry on black velvet. You have learned already that black velvet makes everything look more expensive than it is. That is your first lesson in this industry, and you don't know yet that it will scale. You watch what people stop for, not what they buy, what makes them slow down, what makes their hand reach out before their brain decides. It is always the thing that catches light. You rearrange the table 3 times in the first month based on nothing but this observation. Sales go up 40%. You are not yet in the diamond business. You are in the attention business. The diamond business is the same thing at a much higher price point. But you don't know that yet. Level 2. The apprentice. The jewelry store is on a street that has had jewelry stores on it for 60 years. The owner is Bernard, 61 years old, third generation. He teaches you not because he decided you were special, but because you asked every day for 3 weeks until he ran out of reasons to say no. The first thing Bernard teaches you is how to hold a loupe. Not how to use it, how to hold it. The distance from the eye, the angle of the light, the stillness of the hand. He teaches you this for 2 days before he lets you look at a stone. You understand later that he was teaching you patience in the language of optics. He holds a D flawless under the loupe and then an ISI 2 and asks you to tell him what you see. You see light behaving differently. He says, that difference is $40,000 per carat. You never forget the lesson because it costs someone $40,000 to teach it. You learn that diamonds are graded, but the grading is not objective. It is a consensus. 2 trained eyes looking at the same stone can disagree by a grade and both be defensible. The grade affects the price. The price affects what someone pays for a moment in their life they will remember forever. The subjectivity is enormous and nobody talks about it publicly because the industry runs on the perception of precision. When you leave after 3 years, Bernard shakes your hand and says, the stone doesn't lie. People do. Remember the stone. You spend the rest of your career learning what he meant. Level 3. The independent dealer. You buy your first parcel in Antwerp. 14 stones. Small, commercial quality. You paid $4,200. You sell every stone within 3 weeks for $6,800. The margin is real. So is the education. Antwerp is its own world. A few square blocks that move more diamonds than anywhere else on Earth. The dealers here have been dealing here for generations. The relationships are family relationships dressed in professional language. You are an outsider and you are treated as one. The price of entry is not money. It is time. It is presence. It is showing up to the same booths at the same shows until your face becomes familiar. And familiar becomes trusted, and trusted becomes the only currency that actually matters. Once you discover that a stone you sold has been misgraded, you call the buyer before they discover it, and you refund the difference without being asked. It costs you $1,400. It earns you a reputation worth considerably more. In a business built on trust, the voluntary refund is the most efficient marketing spend you will ever make. Level 4. The site holder. 10 times a year, a box arrives. Inside is a pre-selected parcel of rough diamonds assembled by people you have never met according to criteria you did not choose. You cannot reject the box. You take what you are given and you find the value in it. From inside the supply system, you can see clearly what you could only sense from outside. The scarcity of diamonds is not geological. It is organizational. The earth contains more diamonds than the market will ever see. What you are paying for is not the stone. It is the management of how many stones the world believes exist. You don't say this out loud. Nobody in the industry does. The system functions because the belief in scarcity is maintained. You are inside the system now. Your interests have realigned accordingly. Level 5, the manufacturer. The factory is in Surat. 12 craftsmen. The best of them is a man named Rajesh, who has been cutting diamonds for 26 years, and who can look at a piece of rough and see the finished stone inside it, the way a sculptor sees the figure in the marble. You learn that cutting a diamond is a series of irreversible decisions. Every facet placed is permanent. The stone remembers every choice. This is the level where you understand that the value of a diamond is not discovered in the mine. It is created in the factory by hands that have spent decades learning how light moves. The person who eventually buys the finished stone sees none of those choices. They see only the light. That is precisely correct. That is what you are selling, not the decisions. The light, level 6, the wholesaler. You move volume now. Parcels, not stones. Your reputation is built on one thing. You do not misrepresent grades. In an industry where the difference between a VS1 and a VS2 can be $15,000 per carat, and the difference is visible only to a trained eye, the temptation to shade a grade upward is structural and constant. You have never done it. Every dealer in your network knows you have never done it. That consistency is worth more than the $15,000 you could have taken 100 times over. You operate in the secondary market now as fluently as the primary. Estates, bankruptcies, divorces, diamonds that were bought at the peak of one life and are available at the trough of another. The stone doesn't know its history. Only the people attached to it do. You learned to separate the two a long time ago. Level 7, the branded house. You have a name now, a design language a trained eye can recognize from across a room. The name took 8 years to build and is worth more than everything in the safe combined because the safe's contents are replaceable and the name is not. You are no longer selling diamonds. You are selling the idea of diamonds, the moment. The specific weight of what it means when a box is opened and a stone catches light for the first time in front of someone whose life is about to change. The diamond is the physical delivery mechanism for that moment. The story is the product. Your marketing budget is now larger than your manufacturing budget. You spend more on the story than on the stone. The story is what makes someone choose your house over a competitor whose stone is objectively identical at $4,000 less. You engineered that choice. The diamond is just the object desire attaches itself to. You understood this first at the folding table. Everything since has been the same lesson at a larger scale. Level 8, the mine owner. You have a 12% stake in a mine in Botswana. 340 employees. 180,000 carats of rough annually. You go underground once in the first year. You descend in a lift for 4 minutes and stand in the dark and feel the weight of the rock above you. The mine employs people from the surrounding communities. This is real and meaningful. The mine also operates on terms negotiated with a government whose capacity to negotiate was not equal to the companies across the table. You know both of these things. You hold them the way you have learned to hold things at this level, together, without resolution. Because resolution would require a conversation the industry has collectively decided not to have. The economics of the mine change everything. You now understand the full chain from the ground to the finger, where the value is created, where it is extracted, who benefits at each point. The picture is more complicated than it appeared from the retail end. It is also more profitable. Level 9. The market maker. You sit on the board of the World Diamond Council. You are on the standards committee of the Gemological Institute. You are part of the small group of people who influence what a diamond is before the market decides what it is worth. The grading standards that determine value across the entire industry are set by committees of people like you, not arbitrarily, with care and genuine expertise. Also, with the awareness that the standards serve a particular kind of precision and not another kind. The kind that measures cut, color, clarity, and carat is well served. The kind that measures the human cost of extraction is served by a different document that carries a different weight in the room. You are not corrupt. The people in these rooms are not corrupt. They are expert and committed to the integrity of their craft. They are also the craft's insiders, and the craft's insiders set the craft standards, and the standards serve the craft. This is true of every industry. It is more visible in diamonds because the gap between the mythology and the supply chain is wider here than almost anywhere else. Level 10, the architect, the mine in Botswana, the cutting factory in Surat, the wholesale operation in Antwerp, the branded house with 17 retail locations across 9 countries, the standards committee, the board seat, the full chain from the ground to the moment. There are very few people on earth who control the full chain. You are one of them. You understand diamonds now in a way that has made certain things permanent. You will never look at a stone without reading its full history simultaneously. The cut decisions in Surat, the extraction cost in Botswana, the grading committee, the marketing budget, the moment it was bought and for whom, all of it present in the stone at the same time. You cannot turn it off. You are in Geneva for a board meeting with 8 other people who between them control more of the diamond supply chain than the rest of the world combined. The conversation is about supply management for the coming year. How much rough to release, at what price points, in which markets. The decision made in this room will affect what a person in Tokyo pays for a ring next spring, what a person in Chicago pays for an anniversary, what a person in Mumbai pays for a moment they have been saving toward for 3 years. The decision is made with reference to market data and demand forecasts. It is not made with reference to those people. They are the market. The market is the aggregate. The aggregate does not have a face. You fly home. On the flight, you hold a glass up to the cabin light and watch the light move through it, and you think about a folding table and a woman who paid $12 for a piece of glass and walked away, happy. The glass caught the light. The woman believed in what she saw. The belief was real, even if the stone wasn't. 30 years later, you are still in the same business. The stones are real now. Everything else works exactly the same way.